favorite scary movie.
Well, sometimes that is better.
I am the devil, and I am here to do the devil's work.
Demons to some, angels to others.
Do you want to play a game?
Here's Johnny!
The funeral is about to begin.
Never sleep again.
Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of 13th Elm. My name is Bill, I'm your host for the episode, and as always, I'm joined by my spooky sidekicks, Michael and Rob. What's going on?
What's up?
We're
back.
man. Another one. Excited for it.
We're back. So, I have this down to ask, but I don't want to ask anymore. What do you guys think is next? What are we watching?
I have no idea what it could be.
Should we count down?
If I had a guess, yeah, count it down.
3, 2, 1. Slumber Party Massacre.
That's a decent guess. We'll see. We'll get there. So this...
You bitch.
This next one is a classic that I have not yet seen, and I believe Rob has not seen it either. It's the 1982 classic Slumber Party Massacre.
I haven't heard of this one.
So, good job, guys. You guessed it.
Crack that code.
Now that you know for sure, I was correct, right? You have not seen it.
I have not seen this movie.
And you have, but it's been a while?
Yeah, it's been a long while, honestly. It's going to be basically a first-time viewing for me
Cool.
at this point. So I am excited about it.
Right on, yeah, because I was hoping that you weren't going to be like, oh my god, I watched this 2 months ago, so.
Oh, no, and even if I had, when I had seen it the first time, I remember liking it quite a bit, so I
Cool.
expect to be on board for it this time.
Yeah, no, I'm stoked. It's supposed to be a classic. For those of you who don't know, get a quick synopsis. A female high school student's slumber party turns into a bloodbath as a newly escaped psychotic serial killer wielding a power drill prowls her neighborhood. So, the power drill thing, I have never heard about this movie, but it does make me excited. Because the power drill kill
Oh, yeah, this movie has...
sounds great.
This is in what I will call the first wave of true American slashers. I mean,
Yeah.
this is off the heels of Halloween, Friday the 13th, Tourist Trap, and it fits right alongside its contemporaries as a genre staple and one of the films that you almost are always drawn to if you listen to fans of horror or you read anything. This one gets a lot of love, and if I recall, deservedly. You know, I'm excited for a revisit of this movie. If for no other reason, then Brinke Stevens is in this film. She's one of my all-time favorite scream queens.
Woo!
She's an absolute smoke show genre, just staple legend. She was in
Slime Bowl-O-Rama?
Slime Ball-O-Rama, yeah.
Which one?
The sorority raised with Slime Ball-O-Rama. She is the one with gratuitous bathtub scene, if you
Okay,
recall
yes.
that one.
Oh, yeah.
How could you not?
Of course.
She's also in another film, Slave Girls from Beyond Infinity, which is another real fun one. She's in some good stuff.
So,
I'll have to put that on my
are
list.
those, is this softcore porn? Is that...
I won't say no.
I was kind of joking. No, okay.
No,
okay.
it's not. But I mean, it's
But it
80s
is.
horror. There's a lot of nudity.
It's exploitation.
Yeah. Sorority
Okay.
Babes
Yeah.
at the Slime Ball Bolorama
Yeah, I figured the name alone.
has a lot of Brinke Stevens
Mm-hmm.
in some...
Brinke.
Brinke is her name.
What is the origin of that?
Don't worry about it.
I don't know, but she...
Okay.
So,
No, I'm...
So this one, sorry to interrupt, this one is directed by a woman too, which she got a lot of shit about it apparently during the filming and stuff. It's directed by Amy Jones, who only has 4 director credits, but she was the writer on like a bunch of shit, and none of it similar to this at all. She wrote Mystic Pizza, Indecent Proposal, and all the all the Beethoven movies where it's a dog.
with
it's
a
like
dog?
a Saint Bernard. Yeah, she wrote all those.
Odd collection.
Yeah, so
I did not know that.
I think I've seen her entire like filmography.
Yeah,
Not
so
yet. Not yet.
I will have about to.
Yeah.
yeah, so like apparently this whole screenplay was written as a parody, and she saw it and was like, "Let's turn this shit in," and it wasn't filmed like a parody at all, even though it was written like that.
way, yeah.
So apparently there's like a lot of the humor that people get from it is not intended. It's from it was intended in the screenplay, but when it was brought to film, it was not, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Okay.
And Roger Corman was an uncredited executive producer. Did you know that?
I did not know
Well,
that.
the dude apparently has made every horror movie for the last 100 years.
Yeah. So 514 producer credits. Yeah,
Jeez.
56 director credits. Silence of the Lambs, Little Shop of Horror, bunch of those big ones, but. Yeah, so apparently he stepped in a few times when the director was like, might be a weird amount of nudity, and he's like, no, that fucking stays in for sure.
Corman's good for that.
Oh yeah. 5.7 out of 10, which I'd like to remind listeners is 2 whole points lower than what One Cut of the Dead was rated. I already like this movie more.
I would say, honestly, in our short time doing this podcast together, that 5 to 6 range for like the IMDb and the like Metacritic scores, that 5 to 6 range has been our honey hole. I believe
Yes.
Starry Eyes was like a 6.1 or something.
Yeah.
And some of these movies, I mean, Amusement Park has like a 90 plus. Come on.
Insane.
Yeah. I mean,
Can't listen to those, especially with horror movies, but I
Right.
still think that's
Okay.
Insane.
I agree. I think a lot of it too is like those films tend to be more accurate. Like it is like a 5 out of 10. It's worth watching, but it's probably not very good.
Is that how you view a 5 out of 10? Worth watching?
Yeah, I think a 5 out of 10 is worth watching.
Really?
Yeah,
If
like
I rated something a 5 out of 10, I don't think I would. If I had the choice, I think I would.
Yeah, but
eliminate
it's not
that
something-
something
it's
that's
not-
really, really good, Rob's going to get a strong 6. So,
No,
like,
no,
I
no.
mean, his scale is a weak 5 to a strong 6.
No.
If you've been listening,
like a 5 to an 8 is like most of what we're watching, right?
I disagree, but that's my scale, and that's
I'm
okay.
just saying. I don't know. Like Lawnmower Man, like that was not a
10 out
great
of 10.
film, but that was like I don't know. I was like glad I watched it. I wouldn't rewatch it.
So it's a 5?
Yeah, 5 is like watch once, don't rewatch it. Watch it if you like that kind of movie.
What about
Fair enough.
just for some of the one-liners alone? Bird bath.
Bird bath.
Bird bath.
It's like fun, right? But like it's not like great. It's not like it's not like a super fun movie that this is such a great film. You should definitely watch it.
Yeah.
Fuck that. No.
I mean, it does come up between us a decent amount now that I think about it. Like, we have talked about the Lawnmower Man
A lot.
It's a
It's
good-
a gift that
every
keeps on
time,
giving.
every time we've been together
it's good.
since we've seen it. And I have a feeling we are not going to be talking about One Cut of the Dead
Well,
or
no.
lots of other movies we've seen
No.
a few weeks down the road.
Just saying.
For me, my scale is kind of personal, though. You know what I mean? It's like,
I know.
if I'm entertained by it, there's a lot of good films that I have no interest in seeing again, and I'm not entertained by, and I don't care for personally. And just because it's well acted,
That's how your
well
rating
shot,
should
I'm
work.
not going to give it an 8 out of 10 because it's a great film. And if there's a trash, garbage film that I like a lot and will watch many times, I'm going to give it more than a 5 out of 10, regardless of how it is revered critically or how well it looks or sounds. Like, if I enjoy it, I'm gonna give it a fairly decent score. And don't you watch, like, and sorry to throw you under the bus, but don't you watch a ridiculous amount of like garbage whitewashed Hallmark Christmas movies. Are those all
Whoa.
firm 3 out of 10s for you, but you love them? They endear themselves to you?
No. Number one, that's not what this podcast is about. So
I watch those films, by the
So
way.
your tangent. Number two, I'm not. My scores are not weighted against Hallmark Christmas movies, and it's not something that I've seen in a large
It
amount
should
of
be.
quantity. So fuck you.
Fair enough.
And I don't also pretend that they're good films. Like those are garbage movies. Like
But
don't watch them.
what would you rate them? This is a genuine question. Like no more
Oh,
attacks.
like the 4 that I've seen.
Sure.
Like
What's
ones,
the best
like
one?
1s and 2s out of 10. Like
Yet
they're
you keep watching them?
It's okay. It's like eating like cheese
a
whiz
funnier-
on Ritz crackers.
It's so bad it's funny.
It's garbage, and like still, it's like, oh man, yeah. I don't know.
They're so bad that they're funny. That's what it
It's-
comes
I
down
don't know.
to.
Give me like bacon cheese whiz on a chicken and a
Chicken and
biscuit,
biscuit?
and I'm gonna give it a solid
Okay,
6 out of
but
10.
some of
Not
them-
because it deserves it, but because I'm a fucking
Okay,
pig.
there's one that is like maybe a 3 out of 10, and it's Melissa Joan Hart, and she
Which
has
one? What's it called?
I can't remember what it's called. Hold on,
See
let me
that.
think about it. It's it's Melissa Joan
know I've
Hart,
seen it.
and she has like a fucking
borscht belt. It's the one where she gets the borscht belt.
Shut up. No, it's not a borscht belt. It's Melissa Joan Hart. She has like a local bakery because women are only allowed to have small local businesses in these movies. They're never allowed to be CEOs. And she needs to like cook like 2,000 cookies for the army for Christmas because the army contracts out to a local baker who like has 2 people that work with her.
Yeah, I've seen, it's called A Very Army Christmas.
No, it's not that. No, it's not that. It's not that. Because she goes to like the fair, I don't know, the pre-Christmas fair in town, and talks to a German guy who's selling nutcrackers, and she buys a nutcracker, which then comes to life the next day and is able to like help
Holy
her.
fuck, I haven't seen this one.
And
Sounds fucking
he has
good,
like a
but-
tattoo of like "Made in Germany" but in English on the back of his neck, and he doesn't have a German accent at all.
Does it say that? It says "Made in Germany"
It's-
parentheses,
yeah.
but in English.
Yeah, it says that. And it's just
Does a
not-
nutcracker come to life and kill
There's
people?
there's like a silent auction. There's like a
don't think
adult
so.
Christmas prom thing that she goes to.
So-
It doesn't make any sense.
I could see how that would be a 3 out of 10.
It's like a car crash, and it's kind of fun. It's Melissa Joan Hart, and it's like, I don't know. But all I'm saying is that most of the movies we've watched are better than that movie, and that's
yeah.
a good one.
Speaking of movies, we're about to watch the Slumber Party Massacre.
Strong segue.
Listen to our other podcast, Rob and Bill Get Angry About Christmas Movies. If you want to hear more of that shit. Alright, Slumber Party Massacre. You guys ready?
Let's do
Yes.
it.
Let's do it. And we are back. We just watched Slumber Party Massacre. What did you guys think?
It was fine. It was like, I mean, it was kind of on the lower side of 80s slasher films for me. It wasn't anything
Yeah.
outstanding, but I didn't hate it. I mean, it was a fun watch with you guys.
Yeah, it went by quick. I don't know. The kills, again, they weren't as satisfying as I wanted them to be
Yeah.
for a slasher film, and you'd think a drill would be a cool weapon, and it is for like 1 or 2 kills, and then it's kind of, it gets old.
Mhm.
But yeah, not a bad.
Very impractical weapon as
Yeah.
well. That shit was fucking huge.
Dude, for
And
real.
it was loud.
Only slightly more practical than a chainsaw.
Right.
That's about it.
But a yardstick length drill that sounds like a lawnmower, which yeah, we'll get into it.
Yeah, but no, I agree. I definitely thought I was going to and wanted to like it more than I did, but I definitely did still enjoy it. I mean, it was 82. It was relatively early on for the generation of the kind of films, but it kind of fell a little flat. It was kind of slow. I mean, we didn't.
Well, there's a lot of nudity. It's a very horny movie.
Yes,
Very much
early
80s.
80s. Lots of nudity. I mean, it was originally written as a parody, so they're probably, kind of making it, satire of how much nudity was in the kind of movies already, so they added even more to make it funny, and then they made it into the movie, so.
The
You gotta have it.
The first scene is her like changing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It immediately
For
like,
sure.
starts.
And the second scene is like gratuitous braless basketball, and the third scene is a shower,
It's a shower
scene.
locker, Anderson locker
Right.
room scene.
Basketball, yeah.
I mean, it's Slumber Party Massacre. There's no, you know what you're
You
getting
know what you're in
into.
for.
We got both a slumber party and a massacre.
And a massacre.
So
Guaranteed.
delivered on all points, I guess.
Yeah. Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
With the weird Jay Leno, West Side Story looking villain
Lots of
guy.
strong jaw lines.
This was a
Yes.
jaw-heavy movie, only
film.
slightly less gratuitous than the breasts and butts was the jaw
Prominence.
of
Yes.
multiple characters. Lots of strong jaws in this movie.
Very dignified. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, let's just go quick rundown. Our main girl Trish, strong jaw. Second lady Val, strong jaw. The gentleman who got judo tossed over one of the Billy Miner,
Billy Miner.
strong jaw.
Why would you call him by his full name? Whatever. He plays on the football team, but yeah, he for sure has a strong jaw.
Yeah, I mean it was there. I don't know. Our greased up Robin Williams lookalike, a strong jaw. It was plentiful in this
She
film.
got greasier throughout the film.
She did. She was just slathered in whatever. Like, I don't know if the stage lights were too strong for her
Vaseline.
complexion or what. Yes.
This is getting greased up.
She looked like a rotisserie chicken. Tasty to boot. But
Maybe they're doing like some skin treatment or something for the summer party. Or,
It's her night routine.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
night
that
routine.
mask on or something.
She got her anti-aging or eye creams. Who knows?
Something.
I'm not here to judge. It was something I noticed. Like, every
We-
time she came on the
You
screen.
are literally here to judge. That's what we do.
They made
That's
a
what we
point
do on
of
this
it.
podcast is to judge these
She was
movies.
slimy as a motherfucker.
She was super slimy and gross, and yeah, it was off-putting.
Yeah, it was off-putting. But let's. There's not a lot of fat to chew on this movie. It is a slumber party massacre. It's 1980s slasher. Lots of gratuitous nudity, as we have talked about. And then after the shower scene, we go back to one of the girls' house. Her parents are out of town for the weekend.
Yep.
They explicitly tell her in the beginning, lock the windows, lock the doors.
windows, lock your doors, hide your wife, hide your kids.
Because they're drilling everybody out here.
Yeah, there is I think at the very beginning of the movie, there's a guy, a paper route kid throwing papers out, and it's like crazy murderer loose or something. I don't know if it's something about a drill, but there's definitely a psycho out killing people.
Yeah.
So.
I was surprised to see him so early on in the film too. I definitely thought it was going to be kind of a late reveal type of thing, but we do see the killer very early.
The first kill's like in the school parking lot,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was kind of a surprise for me. I just kind of figured it was going to be some sort of a whodunit, but it was not at all.
It was not at all. It was very straightforward.
Whereas he'd done it.
Very much a he does.
He's capturing these teenagers that are, definitely in their 30s, and and killing them loudly.
All high school girls, all very pretty, very attractive cast, really. But and he makes note of it later. We'll get to it, but you're all so beautiful, and it definitely there was that sort of infatuation, and
They could have cut all his dialogue, and it would have been fine.
Yep,
Yeah, it would have been 10 seconds shorter.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we got the van drill kill, which was in the middle of the day.
Yes.
And in a public high
parking
school.
lot.
Yeah. And then he just takes the body and dumps it in a dumpster in the middle of the parking lot that wasn't covered up, didn't have a lid, nothing. Just dumped
Nothing.
this girl in the dumpster. And then he starts running around inside the school with a 3-foot drill?
Yeah, easily.
At least.
Easily. This
Covered
is-
in blood.
Covered in blood from his previous murder, where the evidence is still on the side of the scene, and he corners. And I didn't realize this because, like I said, this is almost like a first viewing for me. But my girl, Brinke Stevens, shout out. Anyway, she's the second victim in the film. She's only in the movie maybe 20 minutes, and I didn't realize that because honestly, it was after I'd seen. This was probably the first movie I ever seen her in, and I didn't know who she was. And it was after I'd seen her in a handful of other films where she became, she endeared herself to me. And then through reading some of her bios and stuff and looking back on her film credits, I'd realized that she was one of the people in this film. And I had always assumed, having not recalled it clearly, that she was one of the girls at the slumber party. But she doesn't act. She gets massacred prior to the slumber party.
Yeah, doesn't even make
right out of the showers, still dripping wet, hardly clothed, chased through the auditorium by Drillbit Taylor. I mean,
to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know his gentleman's name.
No,
I think
it's
it's
a
like
good name.
Rusty
remember.
McGusty or some shit.
Rusty McGusty.
Russ Thorne, I think, is actually the credited name. But yeah, she gets chased, isolated, killed early on, and she's supposed to attend the slumber party, but none of her friends know that she's killed, and they just continue to have their little slumber party that night without her.
Exactly.
Then we let the killing begin, really, because I mean we've laid down all the plot that arises in the movie. Girls' parents are out of town.
Not much.
There's going to be a slumber party.
There's a killer.
There's a killer.
Yeah, there's some more
What else do you
changing
need?
scenes, more nudity, and yeah.
When the girls all arrive to the slumber party at the house, for whatever reason, with all the lights on and all the windows open and all the curtains drawn,
Right.
they just start getting naked together.
Putting on lingerie or like skimpy Dodgers jerseys or whatever,
Yeah,
whatever
jersey,
else.
dresses, slid up the sides.
Something sexy and comfortable. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
As girls do at sleepover.
Yeah, that's
When you're
it's classic.
17 years old in a house
Pedicures,
unattended.
manicures, Vaseline treatments. You know.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck was going on. Also, one of the things I loved while they're the host, I think Trish, is accommodating to all of her scantily clad cohorts. She lays out a fucking serving dish of Twinkies.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, lined around a bowl.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Like
It's
all
a
fancy
Twinkie bowl.
like.
Next to another bowl of
cheese puffs.
Yeah.
She knows how to host
It's
a
a
party.
feast right there.
Yeah.
She's fun.
She's a classy lady.
She's fun.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Classy young lady.
And then we get the killer starts to stalk around the perimeter, and as some of the girls, obviously early 80s slasher film, one of the girls has her boyfriend like sneak over, and he parks his car in the garage, and she has to like go check something in the garage, and because it's girls' night, no boys allowed. No boys allowed. She's like, oh, I gotta go check it out. And she goes out into the garage, and she's just getting some necking in.
Heavy petting.
Heavy petting in the or whatever it was, like a Chevy Chevelle or some fucking American muscle car.
Oh yeah, no, it was a great looking car.
Yeah. And then she like comes in to save face, like, oh, I'm finishing up, like blah blah blah, whatever. And she comes back out to the car. Boyfriend's head falls off when she gets in the car, and then we get our first glimpse of the killer on premise here to do damage. And you can pretty much call this Domino 1 and fill in the blanks. I mean, there's not a lot to dissect about this movie plot-wise.
Nope.
He's wearing a denim jacket, denim pants, red shirt tucked in, cowboy boots,
You know he's a killer.
and a 36-inch drill bit that's probably an inch and a half in diameter.
Yeah.
But
great
no match for a machete.
No match for
Oh,
a
no match for a
giant machete.
Yeah. Another, like a little bit of gore that we got, because a lot of this was like off screen, or you'd be looking at the face of the serial killer, I guess.
A lot of like grazing blows from the drill.
Yeah,
swiping
big side
kills.
swipes from the drill. I noticed that as well.
Don't know that would work quite as sufficient as it did in the film, but
It'd be at least very irritating. I don't know if you just like, ow,
I
stop.
don't know if they're fatal. But we did get the melon baller pizza man's eyes.
Oh, that's right. That was
fun.
A good kill, which I don't think that we actually saw.
I don't think we see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the he might scream and then we see body later.
I think it's like
No?
there's a knock on the door, and all the party is like there to go pay for the pizza they ordered, which is a whopping $6.
Yeah, they're like trying to collect like dollar bills from each other.
Yeah,
It's the 80s.
Yeah, $6 fucking pizza delivered.
Yeah.
It's a great deal.
It's a great deal. And when they open the door, in falls an eyeless pizza delivery boy.
Not an eye in sight.
Pizza boy.
Pizza boy.
Yeah.
Pizza body.
Pizza body.
And the practical effects there are not great.
No, they're not.
With his eyeless head.
Arguably the best in the movie, though.
Which is sad, but they look like burnout candles. They don't even look like...
Yes, it does not look like skin.
It's
Heavy makeup, heavy wax, none of it looks realistic. But, I mean, it's an eyeless pizza boy, which I'll take.
Yeah. It's a highlight.
Take that any day.
Yeah. I mean, it was...
He gets his hand chopped off towards the end.
Our killer gets his hand
the
cut off. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm skipping ahead, but...
I mean, there's not much to cover. If you want to go see it yourself, it's not a bad... Like what, hour 15, hour 20 minutes?
I think it's exactly an
75
hour 15.
minutes. Yeah.
It's decently
appropriate
paced.
length.
Right. Yeah. Unlike that fucking drill bit, which was gratuitous in every sense.
It's just such an impractical weapon to use.
Yeah. So I have never seen the second film, the second Slumber Party Massacre, but I have seen the poster and I've read a little bit on it, and it's like a flying V guitar with a like
guitar,
drill bit coming out of it or something. So that'll be a fun one. We can visit that at some point. Okay. It's so as impractical as this murder weapon was, the sequel features an even more outlandish drill.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, really, this movie is bad off-camera kills, not great practical effects, and a whole lot of nudity.
So
that's probably the main draw.
Like a lot of other horror movies made in the 80s.
For sure. What this one lacked, though, in my opinion, was a solid antagonist, a killer, slasher, whatever you want to call it. It didn't have any...
No one really had personality. Not a single character really made themselves so that the audience cared about them in any sense. We didn't hate anybody. We didn't love anybody. I didn't even hate the murderer. He seemed like a decent guy.
Yeah. He was very kind when he was speaking. He's like, I love you. You're beautiful.
You're beautiful.
Exactly.
Who doesn't want to hear that?
What kind of girl doesn't want to
hear that? Now let me kill you.
Yeah.
No, he's a maniac. He's escaped from the maniac institution, and he's gonna kill people with a drill bit. That's the movie.
Exactly. Yeah.
So our final girl, who is, and I missed this in in our opening segment when we were talking about who all was in this film, but it was, let me forget her name, Robin Still, who is also she's like our final girl in this movie. She's also in Sorority Bays of Slime Ball Bolorama. She's been in some other genre films.
Right.
She's in this movie. Honestly, I couldn't... she plays the role of Valerie. Honestly, it took me until the last couple scenes to tell the difference between Valerie and Trish. Yeah. I mean, they were basically the same character.
No, very understandable.
But yeah, she's in it, and she does find a machete in the woodshed in one of her scenes where she's running away from the killer. And then she comes out and confronts the killer next to the pool.
Scares him off into the...
Yeah, he keeps retreating. I mean, as you would as a woman comes towards you with
massive
a machete.
Yeah, if that drill was 36 inches, this was a 40-inch machete. This thing was huge.
This thing was huge. Massive.
Yeah, he's backing up towards the pool. He's coming at her, and boom, she slices through that thing like it was nothing.
Yeah, she just cuts that drill bit in half with a machete.
With
single swipe.
No effort.
The Tory Hanzo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hattori Hanzo forged this machete for her and left it in her shed. But yeah, and then
he gets his hand cut off.
Yeah, this is when she cuts off his hand.
Yeah.
And then stabs him, and he falls into the pool.
Right.
From which he emerges shortly after. Like, she turns and she starts confiding in, like, one of the girls. She's, like, the younger sister of the girl who's the playing host. And she's like, oh, my gosh, I can't believe this. Well, it's over. We're safe now or whatever.
Yeah.
And of course, he comes out of the pool. Bone dry.
Yes, also, yeah. Completely
didn't touch
dry.
that water, apparently.
No. And not bothered by his severed hand much.
No, because he goes straight into an offensive maneuver against both of these young women. And I just can't get over how dry he was. I mean, he was wearing a denim jacket that was bone dry.
He
He
looked.
would weigh 100.
His
pounds
hair
more.
was dry.
He was
weigh 100 pounds
definitely
more.
drier than when he went in.
Yeah, because he was bleeding when he went
Yeah,
in.
you're right.
He was at least covered in his own blood when he went in. When he came out, he was washed clean and already
And
air dried. That was silly. But again, I'm not watching this type of movie for continuity or even
Plot.
execution plot.
No, absolutely. But there are very similar movies, similar time period,
Much better.
that
Yeah,
are
but-
much better.
Way better watch. Yeah.
Way better kills, more fun. Yeah, I was a little disappointed in this one. I still had a good time, but I was expecting it to be up there with sleepaway camp, like Death Spa, like that kind of fun,
Yeah.
that good kills, but
Chopping Mall is another one of those
Chopping
80s
Mall.
camp movies that's not great story, not great execution, but like entertaining start to finish. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And this one just
And
didn't
this-
quite have that.
and there's a decent amount of character development in Chopping Mall, honestly.
There really
and in
is.
this, there wasn't really anything.
No. I mean, next to nothing, I would argue.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my favorite part of the movie was out of it within the first 15, 20 minutes. You know?
The nudity?
Yeah.
No, well, no, because that kept occurring. Because you had the scene in the car, the necking, where it was just like a gratuitous titty. Like it
just
came back to the
slipping
car and
that
it was just
sweater back.
Titty.
straight one titty and like a awkward fucking ham hock fondling for like 45 seconds. There was nothing of no sound, nothing, just a titty in frame, and I was like, well, that's a bit much, like come
Yeah.
on. But I mean, it fit into the movie because everything was a bit much and a bit too little. That's
Yeah.
kind of how I feel about this one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what else is there to say that we haven't said?
Nothing.
Not a whole lot.
Yeah.
It's another short pod because I mean, it was what it was. If you're going to throw something on in the background, or you're just kind of trying to run through the so-called classics or the first in the genre, this one isn't a hard watch. It's not a long watch. It's not a bad watch. But it's not going to stand out. It's not going to be your
Yeah,
favorite.
I'm definitely not upset that I watched it.
No.
For sure.
But I'm not watching... okay, so I've seen it now twice.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm realizing there's a reason why I forgot it the first time.
It's probably enough.
It's forgettable.
Because forgettable, because it wasn't
Yeah.
horrible, it wasn't great, and now at least having done this and talked about it in this setting, I probably won't forget that I don't plan to watch it again.
I wouldn't recommend this movie. I don't know. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Want to do
Eh.
final reviews?
Yep.
I'll give it a 62 out of 100.
That's
Definitely.
fairly generous.
Definitely not something I would recommend. I'm not upset I watched it. I do get how it was kind of a spark of a certain type of film and all that, but it left me wanting more, for sure.
Yeah. I would give it like a 50. Like, it was just middle of the road, even less than that in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Not great. I mean, I hate to say it, but like the highlight of the movie was really just like the pretty people not wearing much clothing. Like, I mean, I hate to
Yeah.
just be like that, but like, I'm not saying that that's necessarily going to be everybody's cup of tea, but I think that this film was exactly that. I mean, it's Slumber Party Massacre. They knew their audiences. We're talking about teenage boys in the 1980s who, wanted to see what they wanted to see, and they went and they had it readily available in this movie. I mean, there wasn't much else. We didn't even get good gore, really, as we've said.
Yeah.
So, if you want to see gratuitous nudity and cheesy slasher, one of the first in the genre, go ahead and give it a
Do
shot.
it.
You're not going to hate it, but 5 out of 10, 50 out of 100 for me. Whatever.
Fair.
Yeah, no, I'm going to echo what you're saying. This is less of a horror movie and more of a skin movie or sexploitation or whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. But, yeah, I want more. So, probably 4 out of 10.
4, damn.
Yep.
4, 5, 6.
Yeah. It's fair. It's middle of the road. Like I said, you
Yeah.
can take from it what you're willing to, but it's not going to be your favorite. I don't think it's going to be your least favorite either. I've seen much worse versions
We've
of the
watched
same
worse
film
movies.
Oh,
as
absolutely.
well.
Yeah.
You know, like we said, it's no Halloween, it's no prom night, it's no sleepaway camp, but also, I mean, I've watched some just...
Doozies.
It's also not Sledgehammer or Things,
Sledgehammer.
for those of you who have suffered through those.
No one,
Yeah.
probably.
No one.
Please
hopefully.
Don't.
You might only vaguely be familiar with those films if you are up to speed on your, like, what are those, the Golden Raspberries? Or,
Razzies.
Razzies,
yeah,
yeah.
the Razzies. Yeah, that's about the only time those films get mentioned. The bottom of the bucket. Unfortunately, I've watched them
Too many.
too many times. Yep. I'll do it again. I'm more likely to actually watch those movies again than I would be to
Than
watch
this.
this again because those are so bad.
Bad.
I don't know if, I know a lot of people wouldn't agree with that, but, like, this one is just, this was a flyover movie.
Flyover. This is Kansas.
This is
This is the Kansas of movies.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
Glad we have it smack dab right in the middle.
If the idea of fun to you is a strip club in Kansas, you should watch this movie.
I would, no,
The women are way more attractive
I'm happy you said it. I was trying not to say
than
it.
at a strip
you
club in Kansas.
like
I would
Robin
have
Williams.
to guess.
If you want to see a shiny Robin Williams doppelganger,
Pre-death too.
yeah, suspenders. She did have the...
He's not a zombie, rotting corpse to Robin
This
Williams.
is like
What
this
the
is
fuck?
Mork from Ork. Robin Williams, the suspender.
Wear the suspenders.
Yeah.
Nanu nanu. Yeah.
Nanu nanu.
Nanu nanu.
Well, you got it, Elmers.
All right,
Another
Elmers.
episode.
Tell us what your favorite flavor in Topo Chico is.
Shout out to Topo Chico. Hashtag Topo Chico. You can pick them up at any major grocer. They help us get through this show. I know that.
They really do.
Yeah. Need it. What are we watching next week?
That's a good question.
Ooh.
And I know you
Any
guys
hints?
love my picks. And I have a
Yes.
lot of really... I'm going to leave you with this. The newest film we're going to watch next week came out in 1934. I'm joking. I'm joking.
joking.
Yeah, I am joking.
Please be kidding.
I thought I was going to be sick next week.
No, next week I'm gonna I have a theme for next week,
Yeah.
and it's going to be I'm gonna feature two films that were both written and directed by women, because I don't feel like there's a whole lot of representation for women in this genre, or at least outside of that final girl role. A lot of it is films like this. Unfortunately, we talk about our scream queens. We talk about
Yeah.
by a woman?
This
or
one-
directed?
yes.
It was, yeah.
But this one, it won't be so much. These won't so much be sexploitation films, and they won't be these like 1980s body vehicles. They're actually going to be written, directed, produced by women, and I'm confident that neither one of you. I know for a fact that neither one of you have seen the one, and then the other is much less popular and a little bit older. They've both come out post 2010, I want to say. And I don't think you guys have seen the other one, but we haven't talked about it directly, so I could be mistaken. But both films, female writer director, as I mentioned, and I'm looking forward to it. I think this will be a fun one, and I haven't seen either of these either, so I'm going in blind.
Sweet.
But one of them is a film I really have been wanting to watch, and the other one is a film that I've only recently heard about, but I am intrigued by. So, yeah.
Cool. Hell yeah. Looking forward to it.
Nice.
What was that? Get anything? How do you say? No.
No.
All right.
Palm.
Bomb!
All right, man. So I think we wrapped up another episode here. This one, it was all right. Check it out if you want. That's what I got.
Check
Or
it if you
don't.
want.
No, not the episode, the movie.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Like if
honestly,
you made it this far,
yeah,
you already checked it out.
Whoa,
Ooh.
Tony. All
Night,
right, Elmers.
Elmers.
All right, guys.
13th.